In the Donetsk region, one of Ukraine's artillery units is exchanging fire with Russians. This Ukrainian fighter, who did not give his last name, says there's been no visible progress for either side for quite some time.
Everyone is holding their positions. No one is moving much. Not us, not them.
General Valery Zaluzhny, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces of Ukraine, acknowledged the war was at a stalemate in an interview published in The Economist this month. He says that 5 months since starting a counteroffensive to reclaim occupied territories, Ukrainian forces had managed to advance about 17 kilometers. U.S. military experts say Ukraine had an optimistic battle plan, but it just didn't work out.
The idea was you could strike deep, and hit the logistics and hit command and control and hit all these critical nodes. And then the maneuver forces, the fighting tanks and armored personnel carriers and artillery, that would really be a secondary but less important phase because the war would have been decided by these deep strikes. What we're seeing is we're back to grinding, attritional, positional, industrial age warfare.
Russia and Ukraine have reached parity in weaponry, Zaluzhny says, and he lists 5 things Ukraine must do to break the stalemate. First, he says Ukraine needs to gain advantage in the air. Second, it needs to get through Russia's deep-layered system of mine explosive barriers. Third, it must gain advantage in electronic warfare. Fourth, it must increase the effectiveness of counter-battery warfare. And finally, it must prepare its own reserves. Carolina Hurd with the Institute for the Study of War believes Ukraine can also use the weakness of Russia's military leadership to its advantage. She says Russia's lack of communication has led to numerous losses and failures to advance on the front lines.
We keep thinking, surely they must have learned from the last time. And they just simply don't. And I think it's because there's very much issues between communication amongst the highest echelons of Russian military command.
For now, it doesn't look like things will change dramatically as Ukraine continues its slow offensive. But Ukrainian soldiers say the longer the war lasts, the more Russia can bring its military power to bear.
We're dealing with a dangerous and very strong enemy that has more resources, a lot of weapons, and a larger army than us. But we keep fighting them effectively.
Russia's aim, the experts we interviewed say, is to just keep fighting and slowly drain Ukraine of its resources and dry up the flow of international military and monetary aid. For Andriy, Borys in Washington, Andriy, VOA News.